Y'all know the name.
What's crack-lacking, boys and girls? I am Matinio, and welcome to some more Project Cars. Now, this video, as you may have seen from the thumbnail, is a little bit different, as this is something I've been thinking about doing this for a couple of weeks now, ever since with the release of the game looming. So it's basically a little tribute video. I'm just going to talk about basically Roland Ratzenberger and Senna, because if this game had come out a week earlier, it would have fell right on the anniversary of Senna's death, and the day after Ratzenberger's untimely passing as well. So I'm just going to run through, basically just doing a couple of, we'll do a lap on this, and then I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 laps on the Monaco circuit in 98T. The reason I'm doing it on this, because believe it or not, Roland Ratzenberger actually won in his class in 1993 at Le Mans. Which, having me driving this goddamn thing now, I can only imagine what the cars of back then would have been like. So yeah, it's been, well, now at the time of seeing this, it would be 21 years, 1 week and 1 day since, and 1 week and 2 days for Roland. And originally this was supposed to be just a straight tribute to Ayrton, but I didn't want to fall into the pitfall that everybody kind of falls into. Not intentionally, of course, but basically they talk about Ayrton, but they forget. They do. Unfortunately, they forget about Roland. God damn it! Sorry. And you can't forget it, because any driver who can win a class at Le Mans and also race in Formula 1, beyond talented. I think this is before the days of pay drivers, or the pay drivers that did come in just weren't worth anything. They weren't worth the money they were putting in. So so Roland Ratzenberger, he was Austrian, 33 years old at the time of his death, at Imola. And he was a bit of a journeyman racing driver, to be honest with you, and he raced on a lot of different series. I mentioned Le Mans. He also raced in British touring cars, BMW M3. He was also in Japan racing in what was Formula 3000, or what they call Formula Nippon. And in Formula Nippon he actually won a race in Suzuka in 88 or 89, I think it was. I think he was there for a couple of seasons, but I think his big one must have been, it got to have been the class winner at Le Mans. He was winning it was class 2 in it was a Toyota, and he raced there for 5 years straight, from 89 to 93, and he won in 93, and then obviously went into Formula 1 the following year. But yeah, like I said, it's important to remember that if you're a fan of motor racing, and there's a lot of you out there that are huge fans of motor racing, and me personally, I'm a massive Formula 1 fan. I've kind of been looking at the World Endurance Championship as well, a little bit on and off, mainly because of how it's kind of moved on. But I say, if you're a fan of Formula 1, as horrible as I don't want it to sound horrible when I say it, but both of them dying changed Formula 1 for the better, in the sense that, look at what's happened since they died. No one else has. I think that was the kick up the arse the FIA and Formula 1 as a whole needed, and maybe motorsport in general needed, to improve safety. Because I remember a quote that Jackie Stewart said after Jim Clark died. I think it was in '63. That if he can die and he's the best of us, what chance do the rest of us have? I think that would have been the general feeling in Formula 1, because Senna was the man. Let's not forget, he was a god. So, like I said, after that, Formula 1 massively improved safety wise, and it's what it needed. It really is. And like I said, this is just a little bit of a tribute vid. this first half to Roland Ratzenberger, who, like I said, you can't be forgotten. You can't forget him. If you remember Ayrton, you've got to remember Roland. You know, it's like what Matt Mosley said when he was asked why didn't with regards to, he was the only, I think he was the only FIA representative to appear at Ratzenberger's funeral. He's like, well, everybody went to Ayrton's, it's important somebody shows up to Roland's as well. And again, so it's important to remember him. So this was just a little tribute video. You probably won't hear many somber moments from me, as you may have gathered from my previous videos with all the games. I'm a bit of an idiot and I like to make people laugh, but like I said, I'm a huge fan of Formula 1. I wanted to do a Senna tribute. I am. But at the same time, like I said, it's very important to remember Roland, because they both lost their lives that day doing something they love, doing something we would all love to do, so we'd be we are massively envious of if you're a racing fan. You know, racing in either the Le Mans series or the World Endurance Championship or Formula 1 or any kind of racing class, really, or competition. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this first half. So yes, this was for Roland Ratzenberger, may rest in peace, and we're going to move on and do something a little differently and talk about Ayrton now. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, boys and girls, we're back. So yes, this part of the video is basically me in a Lotus 98T, which was Senna's car for the 86 season. Apologies that the livery isn't the same, the famous John Player black and gold, but I can't figure out how to get it to stick. So yeah, and it's around, well, when Ayrton was just without equal, just absolutely immense, and that was Monaco. So yeah, I'm old enough to remember that weekend that they both died, and it was me. I was hooked by motor racing during the infamous '89 coming together of Prost and Senna. I was hooked. I loved those Dayglow red and white McLarens. I fell in love with those cars, and that's where the racing. Where love for racing really came from, or where it really started anyway. So yeah, if I'm old enough to remember the coming together, I'm old enough to remember his death, and it was horrible. It's still, and the thing that annoys a lot of people, especially myself, is because it's still unexplained. There's hearsay, oh, the steering column perhaps broke, or there was another issue with the car, but again, it's just because there's no definitive answer. That just really just, it doesn't give anyone any closure, and it's especially for people like his family and the people of Brazil who absolutely idolised him. I have no doubt that with the guy as intelligent as that, he would have gone into politics after Formula 1. And when you think that he's a Formula 1 superstar, and he's got money, and you get a lot of celebrity superstars who are just utter dicks. Let's be honest, Justin Bieber's a dick. I read somewhere that Senna gave up 400 odd million of his own fortune to help disadvantaged children in Brazil, and a good measure of how much he was loved was how many people turned up at his funeral, which was millions lined the streets. There was 3 days, 3 straight days of mourning in Brazil after his passing. So again, that just tells you how much he was loved. And on the racetrack, again, for my money, there has been and there will never be a driver in any discipline, be it NASCAR, World Rallycross, World Rally Championship, or World Endurance Racing, or wherever, there'll never be a driver as great as Ayrton Senna, or as good as he was, because he did it in an era where we didn't have silly fucking DRS or KERS or whatever it is now. They were basically strapping themselves to a rocket with the steering wheel in one hand and a gear lever in the other. That's how... Ooh, Christ, sorry. That was bad. So yeah, immense respect for those guys, especially because in the dry, in a simulation, and simulations have come a long way. Games come a long way since since then. And yeah, so it seems like it gives you a really good idea of what you have to kind of contend with. And believe me, when you know, you read things like I think the BMW engine they had in the Brabham was running like 1500 brake horsepower, which is either dead on or not far off double what they're rocking with now. Then you know, it says all you need to know about how talented the guy was. And you know, one of my favourite sayings, because, and this is probably a saying I'm going to get tattooed on me actually, because I've been thinking about getting a sleeve tattoo, and part of it, because I've seen my mate's got, so they do a Michael Jackson, I see people get Marilyn Monroe, and God knows who else, but Ayrton Senna is, along with a few other people, my idol, my racing idol, more than anyone else. You know, even when I'm just racing shit like GTA, I'm still doing the things that Senna would have done, basically. Which mainly is from what Brundle tells us during their little scuffle at the during the 82 or 83 Formula 3 Championship. He said Ayrton would basically, he'd put you in a position where he would let you decide whether you're going to have a crash or not. If you let him by, he's got you. Psychologically, you beat him, and that's it. Job done. Nail in the coffin. And if you don't, well, you're just going to crash. I've done that. When I do it, it's called the dick move. I've done the dick move a lot of times. When Ayrton did it, was art. But, like I said, I have no doubt that had Senna lived, he would have won the championship in '94. Based on the fact that if Damon Hill, a very talented driver in his own right, if he can get to the last race and still be very much within it before what was a horrible, really horrible manoeuvre from Schumacher. Yeah, if anyone remembers that, '94 in Adelaide? It was uncalled for, didn't need to do it, why do it? But if he could get that way, then Senna would just, he would have walked it, he would have won it one, maybe two races before we even got to that point. And then on that basis, if he, say, stayed there, I think maybe that Schumacher would have won in '95 because the Benetton was just plain sailing, just a better car than the Williams. But '96 and '97, he could have ended as a 6-time world champion. Which it would have changed the whole landscape of Formula 1 history and everything. More importantly, he would, you know, the most important thing, he'd still be here today. You know, so yeah, it's you know, I still remember it. I still remember the news reports coming in. I hadn't seen the race itself because I was kind of ill at the time, so I was kind of tucked up in bed. Even at that age, I was tucked up in my number, really soup and everything, but I remember the news reports, and yeah, it was sad because he was my favourite driver. Even when he kind of defected and went to Williams, you know, even I couldn't understand it then, but I understand it now. He wanted to win a title, and if that meant moving, then moving it was. But yeah, so mainly this is just me talking about Ayrton Senna, who is my probably. Definitely in the top 3 as sportsman, racing driver, my favourite of all time, because I love racing, I love Formula 1. There never has been, and there never will be, another Ayrton Senna. He's the greatest, he stands above everybody else in my opinion. And also, just before I finish this video, the one thing I just want to say is, this is a saying that's stuck in my head, and it's stuck in my head for a while. I saw it on a montage video, a Formula 1 tribute video, not just to Senna but to you know, just Formula 1 in general. Basically it was a whoops it was a Senna quote where he said, the most important thing is to be yourself and not allow people to change and disturb you, to be different because they want you to be different. You've got to be yourself. Now they are words I live by. Who cares if people don't like you? Fuck them. If they don't like you, fuck them. Who gives a shit what they like? You know, but I live my life by those words, basically. I wouldn't say solely by those words, but, you know, I am who I am. Look at it this way. If you can't be you, who the fuck are you going to be? Simple. Just simple. You know, this is about as somber and as serious as you're going to get me. So, drink it in. It probably won't last very long, because I'm a whimsical kind of guy. But yeah, that saying there is one that has stuck with me for a long, long time, and it probably will stick with me forever, because I'm thinking, in that sleeve tattoo, I think I mentioned it, that's probably going to be that's probably going to be part of it. But yes, it's basically just a tribute to Ayrton Senna, greatest driver, whoever lived, whoever will live as well. Ugh. who's probably looking down on me now and just is absolutely ashamed of what I'm doing to his car and how I'm driving it. I'm doing my best, Ed. I'm doing my best. But yeah, that's basically that's all there is from me. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily content. And well, I'd normally say I'd catch you boys and girls on the flip side, but this time I'm just going to say, Roland, Ayrton, rest in peace. We miss you. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Well, it used to be always something we used to do, and we actually have to clean it once because we got caught doing it in primary school. You basically you take a wad of toilet paper, you wet it, and then you fling it as hard as you can at the ceiling, and it sticks. And I'm not gonna lie, I painted the whole fucking ceiling with it. And then I got caught, and then I had to clean it up.